Jolly Green Giant Killer, 1974 Porsche 911 3.0 RSR IROC Rewind Review. This 3.0 RSR is truly a shocking 911. Why the eye-popping, M&Ms green paint job? Simple, all the IROC Porsches were painted the brightest of early 70s primary hues. Blip, the throttle and flames shoot out of each big barrel exhaust pipe. It's the stuff dreams are made of, looks that kill, and a soundtrack worth laying down your life for. Could this be the ultimate air-cooled 911? It's a question that's been asked 1,000 times, isn't it? Which is the ultimate Porsche? Well, right here, right now, this beastie is it. I've been chastised by readers for referring to a car's soul, or, more often than not, lack of soul. But I've never thought of a man-made object as having an inner self that floats skyward once it's been written off in a head-on smash. No, for me a car's soul is its history, all the places it's been, and its ability to make you feel privileged to have sat in it, or been allowed to floor the throttle and experience all its sensory delights. And this car has soul aplenty. This is obvious even before I've opened the driver's door to get in. As far as special 911s go, this one is unique in the UK. It's one of the hallowed IROC RSRs from 1973, used in the quest to identify the world's greatest driver. All the other survivors live stateside, and even if this were a bag of bits, it'd be worth reporting on. But this RSR is properly sorted, and, as we're about to find out, road legal. Specialist Cars of Malton owner John Hawkins describes this example's paint color as Kermit, yet the huge file of documentation sitting on his desk lists it as lime green, which is perfect. To see a Lamborghini Miura in this hue would be expected, but on a 911 it's practically riotous. Kermit was made available to us through Specialist Cars. Hawkins throws the keys my way and tells us to have fun. My palms are starting to sweat with anticipation. Oh my. It's all very well having a road-legal race car, but to actually head out onto the nation's highways in a car designed and built for one express purpose to race on a track could be seen as foolhardy at best. By their very nature, race cars are difficult to drive, and while we're glad to have race-inspired track day weaponry available, such as the GT2, GT3, and GT3 RS, an actual racer is a completely different animal. Drive one of these to a track, and you're likely to be too knackered to do much more driving. This RSR doesn't look like it'll be an easy drive. It's Armageddon on wheels, and it's practically saying, come and have a go if you think you've got what it takes, and I do know my limitations. Malton's service manager, Ben, takes me through the many different foibles of the RSR, trying in vain to be heard over the mighty racket of the engine. It's coughing, spluttering, trying to singe our leg hair, desperate to be let off the leash and do what it was meant to do, race. We're heading for some wide-open moorland, where we should be able to get the measure of this hallowed machine, and Len Smith James Lipman can do it justice for these very pages. Game on. Let's go. The cabin architecture is familiar. The seats are built for people smaller in frame than I, but I find them comfortable enough. The 4-point Luke racing harnesses are a pain, but inertia reel seatbelts would never look right in here, would they? Behind there's a welded half roll cage and some thin, black carpeting over the space usually occupied by the kids' seats. The real indicator of how brutal this car is happens to be dead center in the instrument panel, a 10,000 RPM touch with no red line. Gulp. People unfamiliar with the allure of classic 911s often complain about the pedals being offset, but here they're even more so. It means my legs need to be at an angle that's way more extreme than usual, but that's part of the appeal, I guess. Nothing is going to be easy about this car. Nothing. Revs, and even more revs. The car wiggles its substantial hips as the throttle is blipped, and local wildlife scurries for cover after a rude awakening from hibernation. More revs, more flames, wider grins all around. Time to engage first and head for the hills. Revs, more revs, trying to keep the engine alive, keeping petrol coursing through its veins. With a violent jerk, we're off, moving, revving, ears bleeding. But we're smiling. Races have been won in this car. This is the soul of the thing, a DNA detection team could no doubt find traces of its drivers and the tracks it competed on. It's all I can do to stifle a big yeehaw as we lurch toward the open road, but first there are locals to upset and fuel to be bought. Up front is a massive, plastic fuel tank. I've seen smaller ones on Arctic trucks. All that revving is thirsty work. Trundling through town, more revs, more flame spitting. People stop, stare, point, shake their heads in disgust. Windows are shut tight and pensioners cover their ears. This is like nothing else they've experienced, and we try to make our exit before the noise police are summoned. We tear out of town in a blaze of glory and pass a group of hacks from EVO magazine. They're standing outside another petrol station, and there's a brand spanking new, right-hand drive 997 GT2 in front of them. These guys have seen and driven most things in their lives, but they're still awestruck. They point and stare just as the locals did a minute or two ago, and I get the impression they'd swap the GT2 for this thing in a heartbeat.
Thanks for watching. Drop a like. Leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this.